Hey again, guys. Man, my card room's a mess. I've been cleaning stuff up, organizing, reholdering. I have a big garbage bag just packed with stuff over there. Have some displays down. I've been getting some cards out, replacing them. Like to do that every now and again. And I have some things here. A bunch of stuff I've been reholdering, some random cards. And I got one new card. And this card I've been chasing for a long time. And this is a tough card to find. I've only ever seen one other one, and it was really beaten up. A lot of the image was missing or really faded, so I didn't want that copy. I thought I'd hold out for a better copy, and I finally found one. Now, there's lots of different ways to collect in the hobby. Some people want to have 20 cards and they're all 9s and 10s. Some people like to collect MVPs. Some people only collect Hall of Famers. Some people only like to collect one player, one team. Some people like large collections. Some people like small collections. Some people only want top graded. Some people don't care. Some people only collect ones. I've seen that. Adam's Splendid Sports Cards had somebody on who was a Jackie Robinson collector, and he only collected PSA 1s. And if they were in better condition, he would damage them and send them in for grading so they'd get a 1. Man, I threw up in my mouth a little bit when I watched that. Knowing that there are people out there who will intentionally damage a card because they're so addicted to PSA and they want to have a specific number from them. Just blows my mind. Makes me sad. But anyway, my card here is Walter Schmidt. He was a catcher for the Pirates. Nobody of super note. He was a catcher for a few years during those years, that time when there really weren't a lot of cards. And it's the 1922 American Caramel. And it's a really cool card. Back to what I was saying before about there are many different ways to collect. See, for me, I don't know, maybe it's just because I'm at a certain point in my collecting, but I love to find those kind of rare gems. And, I love the great players and the players that I admire and the players I grew up watching, so I certainly am a player collector in that regard. But to me, the cards are a little bigger than the individual players, if that makes sense. So to me, I would rather have certain cards. I'm not articulating myself very well, but anyway, this is a tough card, and I might be the only person on the planet who's excited to get this card, but I am. And I love seeking out these things. It's about the hunt and knowing how hard this is to find. I really appreciate it where, heck, if I posted this for sale, people might laugh at me. I put it on a Facebook page or Instagram or something. Now look at this. This ugly PSA sleeve. Man, I got to get it out of here. PSA, they're written there. They're written there. I mean, even PSA addicts, do you really want PSA all over your card like that? Like in 3 places? I bought these one time by accident, and they weren't labeled as PSA. Having the PSA label. I was so mad. What a waste of money. I got to get it in one of these. Superior fit, baby. Those are nice sleeves. It's a shame they ruin them with that PSA. These are clear, though. And of course, when you buy something on eBay and you send it off for authentication, it goes to PSA and it gets one of those PSA sleeves. Got to have PSA all over everything. Now, I have my own slabs now. I've been showing you. So we're going to compare. Anyway, I'm in a weird mood tonight. All right, I'm going to show you some things. A few of these cards you may not have seen before, so let's do it. first. This is a really cool card. I remember hunting this down, and I made the guy an offer. This had to be back in 2015-ish. 14, 15, 16, somewhere in there. And I remember making him an offer. I was watching it for the longest time, and nobody was buying it, and I don't think anybody knew what it was. And I made him an offer finally after it had been up for a long time. And, that's a good strategy, because if somebody's sitting on something and they need to move it, they might be willing to take it if it's been on there for, 3 months, 6 months, and they have to keep paying to relist it. So I made an offer. It was a fair offer at the time. It's maybe undervalued since the boom, but at the time I thought it was a fair offer. Anyway, he was reluctant to take it, but thought about it, and he accepted my offer. And I'm so glad to have it. It's a 1978 Wholesome Bred Walter Payton. And you can see he's wearing number 21 there, which means that this was taken during his rookie season in spring training before he got his number 34, which makes it a really cool image and predates us by a few years. How great is that card? This is a kind of an obscure set. I think I have the whole set, and I have the Tom Jackson Topps Proof too. Beautiful card. So I reholdered some of these babies. Here is Jerome Bettis, rookie. This is very shiny. This is kind of like, I don't know if it's technically a refractor. I don't think so, but could be. It's just a shame he's in a Rams uniform. And I got a couple cards here for the robed one. Sports Card Dad, living it up down in Mexico, making a video in his robe. I got some Drew Brees rookies here. Got the Topps. And this is my favorite one. My favorite Drew Brees rookie. Pulled these from a pack myself, or packs. LaDainian Tomlinson. I was big into collecting at this particular time. I had just gotten back into collecting again. And I bought a ton of product back then. Opened lots of boxes. Got some great pulls too, not like nowadays. All right, like I said, I reholdered some stuff. So here's Tony Gwynn rookie. And I love this card. This is a beautiful example of it too. I have a few, or a couple of those. This is one of my favorite Tom Brady rookies. I don't know why. It's the victory, where he's in sweatpants. But I like it because it's one of the cards where he's in a Patriots helmet. A lot of his rookie cards, he's in his college uniform. But I love this card. One of my favorite football cards, no doubt. And 1967 Philadelphia, Dick Butkus. A true monster of the Midway. What a beast he was. I got a Hines Ward Rookie Ink Edge. I love this card. I got this for next to nothing. Before the boom, this is one of my 66 Clementes. This is a special Clemente card to me because it's the first Clemente card I ever saw. My neighbor showed up at my house with one. He wasn't into cards as much as I was. And he would trade me a lot of stuff, coins or other things. And he had a brother. It's kind of like, he wasn't really a brother. He was kind of like a stepbrother, but not really. And he was older. And he gave him a bunch of old football cards from like 70, 71, 72. and those would make their ways into all of our collections because he would trade them off and so forth. He didn't really know the players, didn't care that much, but he had this card, and I think I traded him for it at one time, but it was so beat up. It was like somebody had it in their pocket, and it was just wrinkled all over the place, and we didn't care. Like, that's the thing. Like, it was the first Clemente we had ever seen. It was like we found gold. Gold. I mean, Clemente's like a god in Pittsburgh. And for us, who never, we weren't old enough to have watched him play, he was larger than life. And to see a card of Roberto Clemente for the first time, there was no internet. You couldn't just go look these things up. And they didn't sell all that many where I would buy cards at the flea market and stuff. They'd have them once in a while. But this was even before the flea market. This is before I started going, I believe, because I had never seen it before. But anyway, it's a 1966, so I have a few of them, and I also have the Venezuelan. It's just a special card to me. Now, I got this before the boom, and because it's not in a slab with a number, I got this for $20, and it's not perfect by any stretch, but it's not creased. It just has some, not so perfect corners. But it's such a clean copy. And of course, the one I had from my childhood, one of the first cards I had graded, have that in my set. What'd that grade? A 5 or a 5.5? I think a 5. And I have another one of these. I showed one the other day, but I have I have 2 raw ones. I think I have the O-Pee-Chee. I'm pretty sure I picked up the O-Pee-Chee. I gotta check now. And I have a PSA 8 and an SGC 8. I just love this card. And the funny thing is I had these cards as a kid, but I never, ever got the Clemente until I was an adult. And maybe that's why I bought so many of them, because it eluded me for so long. I did the same thing with the Joe Montana rookie card. I had one when I was young, and there was a guy I ran around with. We were teenagers at the time, and it was, during the first boom, and he wanted to have a card store, and he was dealing a little bit, and we weren't all that educated back then, and he wanted my Joe Montana rookie. Well, what happened was I decided, like probably many of you at some point in your life, that I couldn't collect everything, and I had limited budget, and so I decided I was just going to focus on baseball, and I decided to trade away my football cards for baseball cards. And so he offered me a trade, and it was I'll never forget this. This was the worst trade I ever made in my life. And not that Montana was in perfect condition. I don't remember, but I'm sure it wasn't. But he traded me a 1966 Bob Uecker, and it was the error version. He has an error version of that card. And I don't know how scarce that is, never looked it up, but back then, that error card was thought to be kind of rare. And so that's what I did. And years later, when I had access to more information, I looked it up, and the damn thing wasn't even the error version. I got the regular version. So that's the worst trade I had ever done in my life. So I made up for it. I have like four or five Montana rookies now. All right, I reholdered some football cards here, mostly Steelers, with one exception. And I do have this in a high grade, but this was my original LC Greenwood rookie card. And why he's not in the Hall of Fame is beyond me. The only thing I could think of is because they put so many Steelers from that team in that they can't put everybody in. He's a phenomenal player. He used to wear these yellow shoes, and they were against the dress code. And he got fined $75 a game for wearing these things. And that's nothing today, right? Nothing today. But these guys didn't make quite what they make today. Nowhere near it. But he refused to not wear them. They were yellow high tops. I guess they were his lucky shoes. But it's a great card. 1972 tops. Have some 1976. I love this set. The 75, 76, 77, 78, 79, 80, 81. I love them all. But here's Roger Staubach. I have, for some reason, I like to collect multiples of my Steelers. So I do have these graded that I'm about to show you, 2 of them. But these are additional. So I have 3 Jack Lambert rookie cards here. All pretty nice. And a couple of Lynn Swans. My favorite football player of all time. And Rocky Bleier. Second year card. I don't know. They never had The Rock, in action or anything. His rookie card, what's he drinking out of a cup? And then you got him just sitting there. And Steve Furness rookie card. Steve Furness was a really good defensive lineman. He took over for Ernie Fats Holmes when he left the team, and he filled in perfectly. Although Fats Holmes was a nice lineman. Of course, Ernie Holmes, he got himself into trouble. And I should not laugh about this. I remember my dad telling me the story, and I don't know, for some reason when you grew up back then, you got a kick out of this. It was silly, but I mean, it's very serious. It shouldn't be taken lightly. We shouldn't laugh at it. But he got pulled over on the Ohio Turnpike by the cops and decided to run away from them, and they had a helicopter after him, and somehow he had a gun or something. He was shooting at the helicopter. He didn't hurt anybody. But I don't know what the deal was. But anyway, the Rooneys ended up getting him out of trouble. I think he had a $5,000 fine they paid, and he didn't get in trouble for it. Came back to the team. But I don't know if he had a mental breakdown or what. But he used to shave he had a bald head, and he would shave an arrow on the top of his head. Ernie Fats Holmes. You have him and Joe Green in the middle, man. Great line. And they would just dominate. Like in that first Super Bowl, they held, I think it was 14 total yards. They held the Vikings to. I believe, if I'm not mistaken, who was Chuck Foreman, I think, was their running back. I think they held him to -6 yards rushing. And the whole team to like 14 or 17 yards total. And that was Fran Tarkenton scrambling. That he was like their leading rusher in that Super Bowl. Their defense was insane. They had a playoff game against Earl Campbell, and they held him to 6 yards the entire game. Just insane. That's a fun game to go back and watch. 1979. That line just eats them up. And I saw this video, and somebody was getting Earl Campbell to sign, and and they asked him. The guy asked him. He's like, "Who was the toughest defender on that team?" And he said, "The whole effing team. The whole effing team, or the whole MFing team." His response was very funny. All right, I'm going to move on. I reordered some of my 1973 cards, and these are some of my favorites. So just to start, we have, I've always loved this card, the Joe Namath. And the Dick Butkus. This is my favorite Dick Butkus card. I don't care. I think this is his next to the last. Yeah, he has one in 74. Man, the Bob Lilly in this set is fantastic. I think the Merle Olsen. There's some great images, but I always love the action shots. I'm not a big portrait guy. And here's a rookie card of another great player. He was a great free safety for the Steelers during the same Super Bowl era, and that is Mike Wagner. And I'll just show you. You know, you tell me which ones are better. So here's a Beckett Franco rookie and a Mangini Franco rookie. And then we have SGC Jack Ham rookie and a Mangini Jack Ham rookie. Another guy. Hell, this guy could probably be in the Hall of Fame too. Dwight White rookie. And a Mangini Dwight White rookie. For those of you who collect slabs. I'm digging these slabs. Alright. What do I have? I have a couple random cards I wanted to show. And I think that's it. I've been rambling on. Did I show everything? Yeah. Couple random cards. Number one, one of my all-time favorite cards. 1962 Bell brand. Maury Wills. How fabulous is that? I wish I got cards and my potato chips and my cookies and my cereal and all that good stuff today. And you know, when you were growing up, if you're around my age and you got the Hostess or the Kellogg's cards, or if you were a little, you know, in the 90s and late 80s when they would sell everything. Like when you would go get a case of Coke with a pack of Nolan Ryan cards, or any of those old things, Drake's Cakes or whatever. You know, I mean, we went out of our way to buy those products. I ended up with brands of cereal I probably wouldn't have gotten otherwise, maybe, and other things. Maybe I didn't buy the Hostess cakes, but I get them just for the cards. So I don't know. I don't have access to their old sales data, but these days, I bet you if you put some cards in something, it'd probably sell. However, you know, the licensing now is probably astronomical. But I don't know. It sure was fun to get cards and everything. Now we're pretty much going to be pinned down to like one maker, and that's not as fun. You know, the whole fun of the '80s. Somebody was just. I'm on a text thread with some people. Then they were Greg Midlife Sports Cards. He was showing some Kmart cards, and it was like I remember getting those by the boxes. But it was fun back then because. Man, you just had access to cards everywhere you went. Every brand. Whether it was Kmart or Hills or Woolworth or just about anything you bought. My random card of the day, and this is a beauty. I just love this card, and it's the Juan Marichal rookie. And I have a great memory of getting this. It's a good and a bad memory. When I first moved to my local area, not first, after I had been here for a while, I found out from somebody, well, when I took my daughter in, she had told me that she used to go with her dad to a flea market and he would buy cards. So I had her take me. We went together, and there was this old dealer. And he was old. He had to be, I don't know, he seemed like, you know, at least upper 80s, maybe early 90s. And he was just this old dealer. He had been going there forever. And he had just lost his wife. And he broke down. He was crying. And we were talking cards. And he was talking about his wife. And it was really sad. Because we were having it was really great to talk to him, being, you know, this old time collector, like back in the day, going to the flea market. But it was so sad. So I ended up like buying all his cards and everything. And he had this. He was selling them for like, you know, the old prices. And whatever he asked for, I'd pay him. But this was one of them. And it's a real nice, sharp copy. I can't remember. I think I paid $20 for it. Of course, this was before the boom. You always have to preface that. Back when cards were normal. And I went back and to see him again, and his booth wasn't there. So I suspect that he had passed. But I'll always have this card, and I'll always remember where I got it. That's what I have for you. Thanks for hanging out with me.